January 2nd, 2024, and we'll begin the Commissioners meeting with quorum present. We'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chair, will you reorganize the board, please?
I'll do my best. This being a new calendar year, first order of business for the year for the Board of Commissioners is the election of its officers. This time we would open up nominations for the office of president.
I'd like to nominate Chad Blessinger for president.
Any further nominations?
I'd be happy if anyone else wanted to serve as president this year.
Doing a great job.
I agree.
Okay, so we have go ahead.
All right, I'm running at you. No further nominations. Proceed to a vote for candidates for presidents. All those in favor to elect Chad Blessinger as president for the 2024 term signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Blessinger. You'll be the president for the 2024 term. This time we'll look for a nomination for the office of vice president for the 2024 term.
Nominate Nick Costa.
I'll second. If we need one.
Doesn't sound like we have any other nominations. We'll have the nominations for vice president be closed. All those in favor to elect Nick Costetter as vice president for the 2024 term signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will do it.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider.
You're welcome.
First thing we'll go through here is the payroll. Anybody have any questions or comments about the payroll?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll move that we approve payroll.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Schneider, the facts that we received, we discussed briefly earlier. Is there any action?
I don't believe
taken by
that.
the county on that?
My opinion would be no action needs to be taken by the county.
Does anyone on the board feel differently?
I don't.
Okay, I do not either. Next up, we have the claims against the county in the voucher register. Anybody have any amendments to that?
No.
No change.
I'll move that we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we have the minutes from our previous meeting. December 18th. Anybody have any changes to the minutes?
No
No.
changes.
I'll move that we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Yes,
Let's go.
Highway reports? Good morning.
Morning. Short list.
I will mention some brief things about it, but that's, I'll tell you before we do that.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, good morning. Planned on reaching out with Michael Costello this week to resume the reclamation talks. We're going to get together with some of the landowners before the end of the year. I hadn't heard back from him. I'm sure he was busy with things as well. So I want to reach out with him and keep this thing going so we can hopefully see some changes out there this year. So we'll stay on top of that.
Sounds good.
Again, a reminder for the freeze thaw ordinance. in order to protect the roads during freeze-thaw conditions. We're placing a 10-ton gross weight limit on all county roads in DuBois County except for Third Avenue from the Jasper city limits to State Road 162. That will be in effect from Monday, January 15th through Monday, April 15th. And that was approved at the last meeting, so it's just, again, a public reminder.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw it in the paper already.
Pardon?
I thought I saw it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Just figure if there's anybody tuning in and hadn't heard it, so.
got it.
Let's see, next item up, I'd like to ask for your approval to request an additional appropriation from the county council for $75,000 towards the purchase of the new boom mowers from Hudson. Back in July, we signed a non-binding contract to purchase the mowers. I think there's a possibility we'll be getting them, I believe, in February, sometime like that. So I'm just going to use the line item that we've got, minus the trade-ins. We'll need $75,000 to cover that. So with your approval, I'll approach the council and request an additional.
I don't recall the situation from last year. Did we? So you're saying we approved, or I guess you did a non-binding contract?
We approved the July contract.
That was back in July, and I think I've got a copy of that here if you want to.
No, and this is just take the next step for it.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with it, you guys? Sweet.
They haven't changed the amounts of the trade-ins or anything, means this has been a period of time.
I think we did add the grader, which wasn't in the original deal, and I think that brought the price down. I think it was $12,500 for the value of the grader, so it brought that down a little bit more.
Okay.
But that all should be worked into this new price.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Okay. And the final thing I've got is
Let's just go ahead and get it in the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll move that we approve the highway department moving forward, taking with the appropriation request for an additional $75,000.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Oh, wait, it's notated.
okay. And last thing, I'm going to be conducting a reevaluation of the proposed conversion projects. Usually like to try and do this the first time of the year, or the first of the year. We know what our bid prices are going to be, so all of that comes into play as far as what our costs are going to be for these projects. And then when we go out to reevaluate all of these based on homes and everything that we have on our score, and if they decide they're gonna contribute any money to it, that can change that score as well. So there could be some, somebody leapfrogging somebody else based on that score. So we still have two projects that were the first come, first serve, and that one is gonna be 500 East, which we should, we won't finish this year, but it'll be, all of the base work will be done, and we will have paved probably a third of it. So the balance of it will happen in 25, along with starting a project on, I think it's 800 West, 700 South, and 825 West. That goes from the Zor Church Road, Old 64, and goes north up to, I think, 675 South. I think Hunter paving should be back up in there. I don't know if you're familiar with that area.
Then we got our right of ways and.
And that would be the last one on that first come, first serve list, and everything reverts back down to the conversion schedule where the scores are affected by additional homes, additional things changing throughout time. So
Is it in the county's best interest to do the project fully this year instead of doing part of it, paving half, a third of it, and then coming back the following year? I mean, would there be a cost savings if we got additional funds from the council? Is it worth doing?
Probably so. I think what we had committed 125,000 a
Right.
year. And I think we've gone over, we try to get ahead on the base work. So we spent a little bit more this year, which means we're gonna spend a little less this year to keep that 125,000 line. That's all comes out of MVH, okay? So, as soon as that is done, then if we've got any money left over, we'll go to the next one. But,
What road is this for
this
this
is
year?
gonna be 500 east,
How far is that? How long is that? I mean,
a little over 2 miles,
2 months.
which is a good stretch. We've got probably a half mile to go, till we finish up our base work, get all of our deuces and
Oh, okay.
53s and everything down. Then we've got enough that we can probably pave little over a half a mile, which means there'll be about 1.5 miles or so to pave in 2025. So.
So it's not the total of the road? It's not the whole thing from 64 down to?
No, it's from 264 to 650.
Yes.
I mean, it's just north, or just south.
Actually, it
650,
goes
but-
to the township line.
Yeah.
I think 650 comes south of, or 500 east comes south of 650 about a half a mile before it hits the township line. And I think this petition, it's already chip and sealed to the township line. So the petition went from the township line down to 264. And that's 2.1 some odd miles. something like
Okay, so
that.
the township line down to 264. I mean, it seems like it would make more sense to do it at one time, not disrupt the road twice.
It would, yes. And obviously, the price of materials are gonna go up.
It'd be cheaper the next year, and I don't know that the council would, I don't know what they'll say, I'll speak for them, but it seems like it makes more sense to do it once.
With that stretch of,
It would be nice to get it off the books.
Mhm.
So what work does the county highway department do versus what some third party will do? What will our position, our job?
Everything that's done on this one has been done by highway. In years past, I think 800 West was one that we did, that we actually had a contractor and come out and do a lot of the dirt work before we got there, because there was so much of it that we couldn't do that and maintain the roads as well. So we had a contractor come in, and obviously that takes more out of that 125,000 bucks. So I've been kind of keeping an eye on it, that we probably committed 125,000 a year, and I think there was one year where, the contracts and everything was about 150, so we spent a little bit more. So I try to hold it down the next year, so that in 2 years, we're still there. So we can be flexible with these numbers, because it's all MVH money, and we can control all that, but I kind of like to keep a running total and make sure that we're still at that 125 a year commitment. So,
I'd say we suggest to him that he moves forward with asking the council for the additional appropriation to do the total of the road. Is anybody opposed to that?
No, I'd really like to get these grandfathered ones done, so we can move into using the evaluations.
So you have the consensus is to move to do it that way. If you could get on
Approach the
there.
council.
Yeah, try to get additional whatever, $30,000 or whatever you're gonna need for that.
okay.
That sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can deal with the next one in 25.
Okay.
So who's best to ask questions about the prioritization? You, I'll let you come up then.
Okay. All right.
That's all I've got.
Thank you.
I've got nothing to report because I was off since our last meeting.
Okay, well, I'll ask you my questions.
Yep.
Excuse me. Traffic counts, why do we, I think I asked you this last year, why do we do them and when do we do them?
I haven't done a lot recently because I haven't had any interns. Usually it's intern projects, summer projects, so we can keep track of the traffic that flows down our county roads. It weighs into our paving plan. So not only do we know the rating, if a road is a 5, and it has X traffic count, we got another road that's a 5, but it's got 2 times the amount of traffic. Well, clearly we probably need to take care of that road over this road. It helps weigh into our evaluation of.
And were you having interns out there going click, click, or you have,
I got
or they do the
I got
drilling into the ground?
Yeah,
Sensors.
yeah, I got counters to go out. And you plug them back in the traffic and it feeds into the computer system.
So, what do we have, 1 set of those?
I got 2 sets.
We used to do those just specifically on roads that had bigger bridges because that was important information to have on bridges. Now we've been trying to get out and do additional roads where we can get traffic counts on as many of them as we can, so.
So this works on rock roads? I'm just curious.
They've got ones that work on rock roads that radar detected, but it costs a lot of money and
Yeah.
I don't have any, so I could probably get access to it if I needed to.
How do you determine which roads you're putting them on?
I just downloaded that one
Okay.
and then just
Okay.
kind of random, try to find them. If I haven't done them in a while, then I make sure I try to get them.
There's a lot of, I think what we've had where we'll update if it looks like it's been 6, 7, 8 years and Brent will kind of focus on those and kind of keep those updated as best as we can.
Region 15 does a countywide, is also every county they serve, every so often, they get a bunch of them and they'll relay that information
Oh,
to them.
wow, nice.
So,
That's good.
I think in the past too, if someone came in and said, my road really needs done, it's so busy, then we would say, well, let's find out how busy it really
yeah,
is.
let's see how busy it is.
I think the last one that I remember us doing was in Bird's Eye,
Yeah.
when the train crossing was,
To find out which one we want to go work on.
Okay, so for the township districts, some of the townships are split.
Right.
And that's just probably to make sure everybody, each crew gets an equal amount of miles, a
That's
similar
exactly
amount of miles, so that's probably the reason for that. So I guess I didn't remember how we did these historically, so I've reviewed this, but there's nothing in here saying what roads you're doing in 24. This is the data. So when do you put the list together of these are the roads we've decided to do?
We're working on,
Yeah, we'll come back in March,
Okay,
February, March.
so is 15th Street one of those?
15th Street is, it's getting zeroed in. Oh, as a matter of fact,
It's
yeah,
on the
from Roser Bridge going to
Yes.
Sultan Run, that is.
That's on the list. Yeah.
Right, so I assume that would be
24,
one,
yeah.
because that's
Yeah, that's on the list.
rough shape. What is R2 and R3 when we're looking at rock and dirt roads, what are those ratings?
Ratings, 3 is
3 is the best.
best, 1 is the worst, yeah.
And the R stands for,
Rock.
okay,
So
3 is best.
what you've got there is just a printout of just the data. I've got a whole nother set of cells on the side. If I would just put 1, 2, and 3, it would populate into the wrong spot. So if I go on R1, 2, and 3 or D1, it sets it into a different area. So when all that data comes into all this data here, it all transposes into this one and this one. I need different, I can't just put numbers, I gotta have something that differentiates it. So that's why I went R1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, D would be a dirt road.
Okay, so if it's a D3, that'd be the best dirt road, D1's the worst. In Patoka Township in Huntingburg, he's over by Sunset, I think it's Sunset Drive, Timber Ridge and Lakeview, those are those private roads, that's what and do they have like an HOA that maintains those, or is
I
it?
don't know, I would assume so, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think Timber Ridge, that's the Umar boys, and I think they've always taken care of.
They just take care of their own, and in the future, if, I would assume, I haven't been back there, but I would assume those roads wouldn't be up to standard, they're probably small.
Yeah.
If they want us to take them, somebody moves them in their yard.
Yeah,
So they may keep them private, we don't have a problem with that, right, if they
No,
maintain it.
and I think the other one, isn't it, I think it's within the Huntingburg city limits, but
No,
it
they're-
wasn't It's not a Huntingburg street.
I think it's in the county. according to-
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's in the county.
Okay. And so I saw, and again, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at 100% here, but some of the roads went from like a 5 to a 9, which would mean when they got repaved or they got resurfaced, but the dates aren't updated to show that it's something was done in 2023. So it'll show like 2022, 5, 2023, 9, but they're right.
I may have missed a few of them.
So I found 3 of them and I quit looking.
Yeah.
Now, some of those,
You're looking at thousands of data, so.
if those are,
ND, this number, HL, a couple of them here, they went from 6 to 10.
Yeah.
those chip seals, see some of those.
But either way, no, what he's saying is I didn't say the date of last service. I didn't catch them all.
okay.
So all would
They're just,
be-
I would go through them, but you're talking thousands of lines that I may have missed a few of them, so.
I don't know where all would be here. I know it's.
Because a lot of times you'll have a chip and seal road that might be a 5, and we've got maybe 6 or 7 places we rip up and we fix. And when I go back over that becomes an 8, and that's why we improve those bad
I
areas.
just didn't catch them.
You won't see that because of
Well,
the paving list, that's within our maintenance.
In the long run, that'd be a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
do you have somewhere else historically where, when's the last time we did X, Y, Z?
And I try to get these, like I said, I've got thousands of lines. I can't catch them all. I try to get everything I can. I miss a few of them, so.
But this is where you would.
That's where I
that
go.
information. I can send you those 3.
That's
at
fine,
least, if you
yeah,
want.
that's fine.
I'm not gonna be overly critical, I'm just making sure you knew that there was some way.
Yes. And next meeting, I'll have the end of the year report that shows everything that we did over 23, so we'll have that as well.
And then will you present to us a road, you suggest these roads? Okay. Sounds good. That's all I have. Thank you for the report.
I do have a couple of questions. Do we have any update on Ann Maringer's road back there? I haven't been back there, so.
The base is complete. Probably what we'll do this spring is touch it up with some 73s and do some final dressing, and it will be paved this year.
Okay, so the sides and everything is,
All the great work's been done and the rock's been added.
how about the Portersville Road, way back there where Gary Schneer lives? Do you know where I'm talking about? You take 800 all the way back and then you turn left and it winds off and it's,
Hipsel Road?
it goes, to the left. It goes up past Renters and then Gary Schnell is basically on the end of the road, the Pike County, Du Bois County line. They had come in and asked about that some time ago.
They never filled out any kind of right of way.
Yeah.
There's no dedicated right of way on that road.
Weren't they gonna go back and find if there was an original document?
They were
I
gonna find
think
one and they
yeah.
never came back and talked to us.
That goes back to, is that Susie's back there? In their beauty shop or something? On Portersville West going to the county line. It turns gravel at the bridge.
Yes, it does.
And then it runs back to the county line. I think there's a, is it Susie's or something?
I don't know.
I have
I thought Gary, is it Gary Schnell, or Schneer, that lives at the line there? So they never came back then and said anything.
nobody's ever came back
They
to
were gonna
us.
go back and look at somebody originally
Right,
did that. Do you remember that?
I remember that. No, they talked about it a couple months later. Nobody
I
went
never-
and talked to us.
Okay.
know that they do that anymore.
Okay. I was just curious because
I know they were in here, I remember there was a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah.
somebody had said something to me and I just wanted to follow through.
Yeah, they never came back to us with a
I
right of way
think-
document or.
Okay,
Yeah, I think they thought they had something, but we don't have record of it unless they, I've seen before where people have gone out and they've got a few signatures, but it never got completed and it just, whoever was carrying the petition still has.
There's one
I
on
think
Northside
the
of Du
original
Bois.
she passed or something and then they were gonna go back and try to.
There's
find
one on
it.
Northside Du Bois, exactly the same. They called
Archives.
and asked about it. And it died, it died on somebody's table and then they just didn't get it going,
Okay.
so.
Okay,
If it's been done, it would be recorded at the courthouse, so that's how we've been doing it. So,
so Mr. Renner originally came in with with, I think, with Gary and stuff like that, and brought that up, so if he wants to follow through, then
Okay.
he needs to. Okay, what road is that?
Hempsel,
Or that, I guess, I'm sorry,
Portersville West.
turn to the change names there.
Hillsville is
Oh, it's way out there, like.
Choose your road, yeah,
Like
it's
county line.
county line.
Yeah.
And there's a portion of it there that
The
they
road
want
kinda-
to pay.
Branches to the north and to the south.
Yeah.
Hempsel Road is to the north and Portersville West goes south, and then it ties into 900 West, which is Pike County's road.
Yeah, just beyond Gary's house there. Okay, I was just curious. Somebody had said something, so I just wanted to kind of follow up with it. Thank you.
Outside or anything? Anything else for highway department?
Just forgot everything I needed. Fine.
So I got a couple miscellaneous things here. First, I'll just mention for the record that the Zoar Public School, Zoar Methodist Church, Zoar Cemetery, at 8818 West Old State Road 64 and Zoar Church Road, that was entered into the National Register of Historic Places on December 11th, 2023. And I know that's something that was important to them, and the commissioners put together a letter of support for that. So I'm glad that that went through for them. Next, on the cover of the Indiana News 92, Du Bois County made it for Operation Greenlight for veterans, so I thought that that was neat. I believe the recorder turned in our photo for that, so appreciate that. Do you want to call and see if Nancy's available?
Try to find her, I don't know where she's at. Can you guys call Nancy and have her come to the commissioner's room? Thanks.
Something else that's been going on, there's been some discussions regarding courthouse security. I met with some of the courthouse staff last week. Which is something that'll probably be coming up that, I don't think everybody's feeling good about where we're at, so I think we're working with Mr. Schneider and some of the other people involved, and hopefully we'll be able to make some improvements in that area. I don't know if I have much else really to say other than just to keep that on your radar, that people may be contacting you for your opinions and thoughts on that. Again, there's been discussions about using the magnetometers, I guess, the metal detectors. Giving our people the ability to frisk people if necessary when they come in, to make sure nobody's bringing any weapons or anything. So the way we operate currently, people are oftentimes bringing in backpacks or items that you could conceal other items in. And we just want to make sure that we're keeping everyone as safe as possible, the public and the employees. It's something that we'll probably talk about in future meetings.
Are you gonna try another security meeting yet?
I don't know that we have a security board, team, committee, I don't know what you call it, that has a lot of people involved, but I don't know that that board has that committee has any power necessarily. So the people that would have power would be the sheriff's department, the judges, and the board of commissioners would be my understanding, that those would be the people that would be able to make decisions on the courthouse, because it's our building, our courtroom. The judges have some authority to make rules, and the sheriff has some authority to provide safety. So
Yeah, the committee meets and makes recommendations, but that's all we can do.
But they can't pass an ordinance or a resolution, they simply, here's a recommendation of what we think the security plan should look like.
Now, the judge does chair the board.
So the Board of Commissioners historically, even last year, has taken recommendations from the Security Committee and implemented some of those, such as putting up secure fronts on the offices, locking down part of second floor, just making things more safe. So we try to do that every year and want to continue to do that. We don't want there to be any problems. So last week I met with some of the homeowners and with the county surveyor on the property that we discussed. The request from Cash Wagner and Associates, this was on property to the west of County Road 700 East in the Cayenne area. And you remember this map? And so there's 8-foot right of way. I did take some pictures if you're interested in seeing them. We met with the people that live up here. This would be the Hemmerlines. Met with Mr. Mark Welp, who is the owner of this property here. He lives up here and he owns acreage. That would be at the end of that property. So Mr. Brosmer helped measure off where some of this distance would be. And just so that the county was aware and that the landowners were aware of what the request from Cash Wagner would be. I asked the homeowners, I said, so we had to talk for about 20 minutes, and then I said, specifically tell me what your thoughts are at this time, and I'll write them down so I specifically can tell the rest of the board what you think. So during one of my phone calls with Mr. Hemmerline I said, well, in the city of Jasper, a lot of times if they vacate a alley, 10 feet goes one side, 10 feet goes to the other side or something. And I think he kind of grabbed a hold of that. He said, well, if you're whatever you give to that guy, I want that on my side as well. So I think that was his take. So we, at our last meeting, had talked about doing 20 feet on the south side. Right, so we still had 60 feet of usable land. In his take, he said, well, give them 10 and give me 10. Then that was kind of what his opinion was. So he said they would want to take 10 feet and give them 10 feet. Otherwise, he's good with it as it is, as it sits. The other gentleman, Mr. Well, said that initially he was going to try to buy this property that's in question, the property that the Cash Wagner customer is wanting to improve. He asked for it. It doesn't matter. The details don't matter. He ended up not being able to get it. Someone else purchased it, these people. With him, he's okay with it going to 60 feet of right away, but nothing less, because he likes the idea of saying that we do that potentially there could be something put in there. He thinks that 80 feet that's there now is too big, so he's fine with that. And this is from Mr. Schneer. We wanted the people that live there, the Hemmerlines and Welps, both wanted to know if Cash Wagner came back to us and they have a proposal and we were going to make a decision to lower the amount of that right away, say it's 20 feet or we just eliminate the whole thing, would notice be given to the...
Should be given to the adjoining landowners as well as it'd be published in the Vernon News and the Herald.
So that's what I told them, but I didn't want to say that because I think if we did a total vacation, that would be part, but I didn't know if there was only a portion, if that had the same rules. I would think that it would, because it would affect people in the area.
It affects ingress and egress, so I would think that adjoining landowners attached to that road should be entitled to notice, yes.
Okay. And I think the concern too was we were gonna take some quick action at the next meeting and it'd be a done deal, but I don't think our board would do that. I think we would take the information, give people time to digest it, and at least give public a chance to comment. Would you agree that that's probably how we would handle it?
Yes.
And just one of the, like Mr. Welp said, just please let me know before you take any action. That way his voice could be heard. Is there anything else, Mr. Brosmer, that you think?
That was the only point, that if you vacate part of that right of way, you've got to notify the surrounding or the adjoining owners. I didn't know the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the whole thing, I understand that, but if you just vacate part of it, I didn't know if you had to send out certified letters.
I'm looking into that here real quick.
Did Cash Wagner not talk to the landowners at all prior to?
I think they were trying to get to a point where they could feel it out, and if they knew they weren't gonna get approval, they weren't gonna take that next step. But if they thought there was a chance, then he did address that at the meeting.
I think they were coming to put their feelers out basically, so that they didn't put together a whole presentation, do the work, that was gonna get shot down immediately. They wanted to get a feel for, I think, where we stood. So we'll deal with that again in the future. They may not even come back. They may say, well, that's not, from where I stand, when I looked out there and I looked at that property, from the road, the main highway road, up to where this looks like you could build on it or do anything with it, it looks like there's not much space there to do anything. So one of my concerns would be, one, even if they got to 20 feet, is there gonna be room for septic anywhere? Because it's wet. I mean, the soil is saturated. I don't know where your septic would go. So to put multiple homes there, maybe you do one home, I don't know. It doesn't look to me like it's very developable. Because it's basically, comes off the road, it goes down a little bit, there's a valley that fills with water, and that's 75% of it. Then it kind of slightly goes uphill to the road in question here. It just doesn't, I mean, maybe you do tiny homes or smaller things, but it just doesn't seem like that's not my job. I'm not the developer, but in my experience, it doesn't look like there's much room there for development.
That state highway ditch there doesn't drain very well either.
Right, it just holds water. I mean, it's a little pond for part of the year. If you looked at it probably in July, I think is what the landowners were saying too. If you look at it in July, it looks like, oh, this is great. We could do all kinds of things here. But if you look at it, even last week when we were there where we hadn't had a lot of rain, and it was water standing in it.
Correct.
So, I want people to do whatever they want with their land. That's always been my thing. I want people to have that freedom, but I don't know how well it would clear other hurdles such as the health department getting a septic system or those kind of things. Anybody from the public have a comment on that? I know generally we don't take public comment in the middle of it, but I know there was maybe a few interested parties. Anybody? No? Okay. Next
Yeah,
up.
I did look, it, as prescribed, which talks about the publication of it as well as by certified mail to each owner of land that abuts the property proposed to be vacated.
So, any other vacation? Okay.
So I'm interpreting that, for the record, that right now it is an 80-foot right of way. To me, it doesn't matter if I'm vacating 20 feet off the south, 20 feet off the north, I abut that 80-foot right of way. That's platted, therefore the adjoining landowner would need notice of that.
And we can make that a request to the person making the request, and if they say no, then we can deny their request for change. Okay. All right, next up, we have commercial solar energy permit. Do you have something for us, Mr. Schneider?
I had reached out with the holidays and everything, I didn't get with Marky to see if he could convert that over, but it wasn't either a PDF to convert, I determined.
Okay.
I just emailed the city and I asked them if they could share me an editable form, but yes, it's in process.
So maybe next time.
I'm hoping so, yes.
Might put that on the agenda for next time.
My word skills are not what they once were. Or maybe they're exactly what they always were. That just wasn't in it.
And then anything on, I know it's been the holidays, so is there any progress on the other permit for road decommissioning, any of that kind of stuff?
I haven't heard from them at all. Those that were circulating around, I think they kind of went quiet over the past couple of weeks. No emails to get sent back out of office reply.
Yeah, I got a few out of office replies when I was sending them comments.
Okay, so that pretty much takes care of our agenda until the 9 o'clock drainage board.
There's going to be added on, but I didn't.
Yeah. Anyone opposed to hearing what Chris Tanner has to say?
Take about 2 seconds.
All right, let's hear what Mr. Tanner has to say. Please introduce yourself for the.
I'm Chris Tanner, representing the Fraternal Order of Police. At the beginning of November and December, the Fraternal Police had a school supply drive. And I just wanted to thank you for giving us permission to do that. We had the Du Bois County Courthouse employees and annex donate quite a few items, and I just want to let you know I'm very appreciative of that, and what kind of people you have working for you. Very kind, very generous people. Especially want to thank Sandy for helping me get it organized. And that's it. I just want to thank you guys.
No, I thank you for making the effort to ask and to do it. So it takes people to do that work.
We donated to Northeast Du Bois Elementary School. That's what we donated to. I wanted to get more, but maybe next year. That's all.
Sounds good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Chris.
Anything from the auditor's office?
Yeah.
I do have a new employee starting next Monday.
That's it.
Okay. New employees starting next Friday for the AIS position, or somebody else wanted to do
She
the
already
AIS
over,
position?
so
3 weeks.
have some change.
You want to tell us the name or?
Stephanie Fair,
See her. Okay, we'll stop over and say hello.
starts Monday.
Commissioner Stefano?
We can discuss afterwards too. Did you get the email from the 4-H?
About the rocks?
Yes.
I didn't know what it was about really, so I kind of didn't pay much attention to it.
Well, they're approaching me. They want these huge boulders and rocks that they have out there. The 4-H board has a use for those, a future plan for those.
Mhm.
But the park board is wanting those boulders now. So I don't exactly know what to do. I think that the park board probably needs to come to the 4-H board and at this point and discuss it. From what I understand, they've taken action to talk to an engineer and everything at this point as far as where they want to place these at the park. I mean, they're boulders, they're stones. I'm not sure that I'm on board with putting these boulders up at the park for children to play on. That's kind of where I stand.
So currently, are these things,
Part of the changes that they're doing with the grant?
I don't know. I don't know the full story.
are these natural stones that were on that property, that were on the property that we are leasing to the 4-H?
They're on down by where the tractor pulls and things like that. They were all dug out from down there when they redid some of that. And they are huge boulders.
I don't know how leases work, but I would assume that they are part of the property owned by the county, leased to the 4-H, and the 4-H can do with them whatever they can do under a lease, which I don't even know if they should do.
I would say the boulders belong to the county.
I would say the boulders belong to the county too,
Plans for those.
leased to,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's part, I guess it's
I would say.
not really part of the earth anymore, because we've done them out.
Right, I would say they should probably not be moving that kind of thing without us, but I don't know, that's a huge thing that I see.
Huge. So I'll deal with it at the next meeting and go from there.
So you're a member of the 4-H board, and there's a park board as well. I guess my suggestion would be, if the park board needs big boulders, they should probably buy boulders elsewhere. If 4-H has a purpose for them, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. From what I understand, they have a future plan for them. Exactly what, I don't know.
That's
So,
my stance on it. What would your stance be, Mr. Hostetter?
I hate to get involved in who has a better use for them. But, yeah, I mean, if they're on the property that the 4-H is leasing and they have a use for them, I don't see what the park board would have to do.
the way I read the email was, hey, there's these boulders that we'd like to use them. I mean, I don't know that it was any more than that. I mean, maybe behind the scenes there's more to it than that, but it just seemed like if they're just sitting there, we'd like to use them, but they're not just sitting there.
Yeah.
Apparently, so. Have fun with that one.
I will deal with it at the next meeting.
So I think you know where we kind of stand on it. If it's on the 4-H property, it should be the 4-H's to do it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Commissioner Hostetter?
I don't know anything additional to
No?
I found the ordinance, we had updated it, that's why on the, I sent you an email.
For security?
Yes. We updated it, that's why it didn't exist online. It had a new number. But nothing else.
Well, I'll give you an update since we have 12 minutes to go through until we get to the drainage board meeting. The work on the hill for the security center is still going forward. It should be 2.5 months it's supposed to be done. Looks like there's a lot of work to be done. I'm hoping that they're right. I don't want it to go forward again because, you know, it was November, December, January. It's in their best interest and our best interest to get it done as soon as possible because it's costing everybody more money the longer it stands out there, mostly them. The more time they have to keep people. And it's not like at this point we're changing a whole lot of anything. One of the changes that is recent was the way the contract's written up, it'll say floor to be patched and returned to previous condition, you know, as close to a previous condition. But if you have a wall, if you have a walkway that used to run into a wall where the hallway ended, and now you take that out, there's a big nasty rectangle on the floor, and they could patch it back in, but I don't think it would look good, and I don't think it would hold up good. So we are working on getting a quote on some new flooring put in, but
what was the flooring? Was it concrete or was there an actual flooring down?
they have a Jesper, I think Jesper equipment comes in and they put like a spray,
Epoxy?
yeah, like an epoxy.
Okay.
And the epoxy that we put in 30, 40, 35 years ago, whatever it was now, was still holding up. And that's what they were like, well, we could patch it in there a little bit, but it's kind of been broken up. So we're gonna put another layer to that because that stuff lasts forever.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put luxury vinyl tile or you put anything else, it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
So there was one hallway where it's doesn't get much traffic, so we're putting some cheaper flooring there. Nobody uses it. Anything that gets daily heavy use, we're putting this. Or at least we're getting a price on it.
Gotcha.
So that's going well. I would love for that to be done last year.
Next year.
Anything from the public? Anybody want to have anything they want to talk about for 10 minutes? No? How you doing, Mark? Merry New Year.
Yeah, I heard.
Sandy, on that industrial developmental loan, we found out last summer that it could be used for regional sewer. As that,
We haven't done any with it yet.
as far as you're concerned, we'll just leave it,
It's just gonna
let it
sit.
float until time we need money for the sewer.
That, spending that money's not as urgent as spending the ARPA money.
Correct. Is there any updates on the sewer?
We are meeting on Thursday to kind of see what our next steps are. So this year, I believe it was Keith who is coming, and so
David Whiteman or
Wishman. I always want to say Andrew, because, but yeah, David Wishman. So they will be in on Thursday. We're going to meet and see what our next steps are. So.
Okay.
Might be worth noting on the 26th, I think it is, 26th, for the item public hearing
Oh,
for
correct.
the sewer district. 6 PM on January 26th. I think it's at the,
The UJC.
JC.
Tim.
It's on Friday? Is that
Thursday evening at 6, January 25th,
25th, okay.
CTIM building. It's just a manual organization.
Minutes from the last training.
Yeah.
Because we,
Yeah, he's got them.
What's
We
that?
have to close it and reopen it and do the board and all that.
when this is done, we don't need to reopen it. Just hold the new one and, is that what you're saying?
We'd have to open the drainage board.
Right.
Elect the officers.
Yeah.
Do the minutes. He's got them right there.
I was just looking at last year's minutes to make sure, because we had a couple of meetings in between.
It's whatever's on there, I can't.
Okay.
You need it? As far as I'm concerned, the commissioners meeting is
January 3rd.
closed and we'll start the drainage board meeting at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Ted, can I see that?
This? Mr. Wendell? And Mr.
Good.
Thank you.